what you're going to do is, with your own group, you are following steps. The steps from group work. We do it in parts. And step 1 is going in little groups and use some topics and do the steps which we saw in the movie. So step 1 is making questions. Step 2 is structure the questions. Step 3 is making a mind map. Step 4 is distribute the questions and make little groups who are looking for answers. Where can you find it? And you put it on the wall, so you have a structure. Who is doing which part of the subject of the observation. And then step by step, you realize a completely project with your class, and you can celebrate what you learn and what questions there are. So what you are going to do is doing the program you saw in the video, step by step, but not with earthworms, but with another topic which you found outside. The organization of it is with you. Lee, you can tell more about it, I think. Yes, and the most important thing is you experience today not all of the steps. It's not possible because of time, but you start with the steps to experience how it is sometimes to be a teacher, sometimes to be a student too. What do you ask students? That's what is very important. So you will experience it, and I hope you will be inspired to do it in your own classroom. Step 2 is only with the group making a structure of all the questions and looking for some topics, because the topic can be food, yeah, it depends what it is. But you make, in step 2, you make a structure of all the questions which do belong to each other. If you do a research, what questions can be in that research? So you are organizing it, and in step 5, you hang it on the wall so everyone can check who is looking for which question, because the little white cards you see near step 5, there are names of the children. So in 5, you have the topics, for example, food, temperature, that sort of things. Then the questions are below the topic, and the names of the children are there. So it is more for the plan. It's a planning of who is doing which question. So it's the result of number 2. A thing you mentioned, because how you get children focused. We use mixed groups so children can help each other. So a child who is less focused will be inspired by the others to help. If you make groups, when do you learn the most of working together? That's in a group from 3 or 4 children. 3 is the most difficult because all of 3 need to pay attention to the subject. And that is the goal of the group, to work together and to look, what can you do, what can you do? And it is depending of the child, his abilities, his interests. So you always have to look like that. And when you have great groups like today with children, then you always see 1 or 2 is drifting away, is waving in the camera, is doing other things. And that is because the group is too great for them to be active. They feel it is going too fast, too intellectual. Whoa, I'm going down. And then it's always the job of the coach, in this, the teacher. How can I activate this child? So activating by small groups, all the children need to do something. Activate by asking and ask them, what do you like to do? What do you think the next step is? And always looking for what I told, the 4 basic activities, change. If you think they're out of concentration, stop. Do something different. Go out, do a game. I already saw this morning in the room of Professor Chen. After my presentation, they first did a game. Then I think, yes, sitting a lot, do another activity. So always change. So everyone learns to be concentrated and find his own role in this part, in this particular part. And what we did today, hours after hours, we don't do it in Holland. We do it maybe one step, and then we stop and continue another day. So look what the children need. That's the most important. And you must ask, how are you? What do you need? Are you okay? And you must look what children need. That's the most important thing, I say. You know, the question board is the result of the mind map. If you start with the question board, step 5, question wall, how do you organize the questions? What you do is an activity in step 2. You organize it, all the questions of the children, you make a structure of it. And when the structure is ready, you write it down on the wall and you put the mind map away. That's the way you can learn. If you go immediately to step 5, not all the children can be involved, because what you see is when you make the mind map, constantly reorganizing what belongs to what and how can we change it. So they were very busy in the process of making the mind map. And when the mind map was finished, it was written down on the wall and children were looking, yes, that sort of question I had. I am going to work together with Lee or with Yungkang or with Professor Chang. We work together, and step 5 is the result, the visual, the overview of step 2. But step 2 you need, because step 1 is making the cards. So in step 2, you're organizing it, you make a structure, and you follow step 3 and step 4. So you make large objects, because you are also from the water tower, I remember. I saw you giving the structure, but in real life, when you have 28 children in your classroom, you are not everywhere. So children do it by themselves, step 2. And when step 2 and step 3 and step 4, no, step 3 is ready, you come, teacher, you look if it's okay, and then you make step 5. So that's why there is difference between 2 and 5. 5 is teacher-centered, and step 2 is still children-centered.